Welcome to Star Wars on High. Thank you for stopping by. We are back and we have reached the conclusion of the Book of Boba Fett. And now it's time for me to give you guys my thoughts. And today I'm going to focus on areas of improvement, things I think the show did wrong. I would have loved to see them change. And if you guys are new to my channel, or if you've been here a while, you know I'm very positive. I'm a very positive YouTuber. I really enjoy Star Wars, so I tend to look at the bright side of everything because I have a lot of fun, and I think Disney's been doing a really great job over the last couple years with the video game content, with the Disney Plus content, with the High Republic. I say it all the time. I think we're in one of the best periods to be a Star Wars fan. Kenobi coming May 25th. It's just so much content, and so much of it's been great. Visions, Bad Batch, you name it. And the Book of Boba Fett, I thought, started strong. I thought it had some really exceptional moments. But now, at its conclusion, I think they took a lot of missteps that could have been fixed. And I want to be clear on this. I think it's very important to say this off the top. The folks who worked on the show, the cast, the crew, the writers, the directors, they put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. And they in no way are attempting to wrong us or harm us. They just had different ideas than I did. And I don't disrespect the amount of work and the amount of heart they put into it. And I believe that they thought this was the best direction, and I just disagree. So we're all allowed to disagree here. They'll probably disagree with my points, but I wanted to share them with you anyway, because even though I love the cast, I love the idea of the show, I think they made some mistakes I want to talk about. And just a couple weeks ago, I made a video called In Defense of the Book of Boba Fett, where I said, hey, I like where the show's going. Let's hold off judgment till the end. Now that we've seen the full package, I have some thoughts. And as I'm going to talk about throughout this video, there are some gems in this show. Episode 5 is one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars content I have seen in years. I'm not exaggerating. It's so good. I've rewatched it probably 4 times since it came out, and I just keep beating it up. It is so great, from the visuals to the story to the direction. It is just so much fun. Smile on my face the whole time, but it's also crafted and told so beautifully. I hope moments like that don't get lost here in the kind of blowback and exaggerated freak out about the show as a whole. Because even though I have problems, overall the show it's good. There's some really good moments in here. Episode 2 I think was fantastic. Episode 5 and 6 are phenomenal. But overall, there were some flat moments as well, and there are some things I think they could have changed to make a better story. So here I go. If you guys like the video, like, subscribe, give it to your friends. Let me know what you think down below. I'd love to hear if I'm off base, if I'm crazy. As always, I appreciate your support. Let's dive into it. Now, I want to highlight 3 major ways the show went off. I'm going to try to keep these topics broad. I could nitpick 100 things, but I'm going to try to keep them into these high-level buckets. And number 1 is structure of the show. Simply put, I do not agree with their decision on how they pace this, how they outline their episodes. To me, it did not really feel cohesive when we see the total package. We spend the first 4 episodes, growing with Boba, getting some of his backstory, seeing him kind of expand his influence, encountering new characters and old friends and folks from the comics like Black Chrysanthemum. But then we depart and we go to the Mandoverse, Mandalorian focused episode 5 and 6. And this was very jarring to me. I absolutely understand that, in Rebels and Clone Wars, we would have arcs away from our main characters. The reason it didn't work so well here, in my opinion, is we had a very limited number of episodes here, only 7. And so you take the first 4 to get us acquainted with this Boba. We take 2 away, and then we just wrap up Boba's story in episode 7. I did not feel like Boba really grew as a character. I feel like changing the structure here could have involved a number of different things. Number 1, I think they should have called this show something different. Now, I know that sounds silly. I've said this a couple times. But if you call this shows like Adventures of the New Republic or Bounty Hunters of the New Republic, and you alert the audience that we're going to be going different places and covering different people, I think you're off to a better start. And then you have more freedom on how you structure the show. You can have episodes that, focus on Boba, episodes that go to Mando, and then you could have even had some like Cad Bane, other character, Bosk, anything. Expanded the show, so instead of 7 episodes, you could have gone 8, 9, 10 and visited these other characters. So it would have been good for the bottom line as far as keeping people's subscription and keeping them happy, but also would have felt a little more natural to visit these other characters. I think that's a small, simple change to make. Change the name, free yourself from the focus on Boba Fett, because it appears to me that the writers had this idea for this Boba Fett show. And when they put pencil to paper, when they started the process, they really didn't have as much plot as they thought. And so to extend it, they added some really Mando heavy episodes, which were phenomenal. 5 and 6 are both really good. But it ends up feeling very disjointed. And it really stuck out to me watching the finale. It was like, oh, let's put a bow on Boba's story. And I just didn't enjoy it. I defended it early on. I've defended it in streams before. I've seen the whole package now. And it just was not successful. Just to add on to the structure piece, I really want to talk about Cad Bane. We needed to see him earlier in the show. The confrontations needed to be built up throughout the 7 episodes. To introduce him at the very end of the last episode, it was an amazing intro. And frankly, in the finale, to me, he was the strongest part. He was so good. I absolutely adored seeing this character in live action. Watching this made me appreciate his character in Clone Wars and Bad Batch more. I'm like a Cad Bane superfan now. I'm waiting for Hot Toys to release this because I want to get it and put it on my shelf. I thought he was phenomenally cool, performed so well. He translated so well from the animated to the live action. And I really wish they would have built the tension between him and Boba throughout the show. But to come in at the end and reference, events in the past, I appreciate that. But why did these characters not have more confrontation? They needed it. I really think that was a missed opportunity. It makes me very sad. This is likely the last time we're going to see Cad Bane because he was so good in this show. That really bums me out. And I know I keep saying I'm going to wrap up, but there's one more piece as far as the show structure that I think they missed. And it's the Return of Grogu. And I'm sure we'll explore this a little bit more in the Mando Season 3. But it just feels really quick for that character to return. We end with a really emotional finale to Din Djarin and Grogu's story with Luke coming, the removal of the mask, the emotional goodbye. And I understand it's been a year since that episode aired, but it doesn't feel like that long since that moment. And within 2 episodes, they're reunited. And I love seeing them together, and I'm excited for the future of Mandalorian. But I don't know if that was the right creative choice. We'll have to see in future seasons and future episodes in The Mandalorian. But I really feel like it just makes the whole experience feel so quick. I don't know. Maybe he'll take him back to Luke. Maybe. I don't know that Grogu needs to be a Jedi in training. I'm not saying that's what the character needs, but I was very interested to see what Mando would do apart from Grogu. It's been such a tied together relationship really since episode 1. What could we see with a Mando with his own kind of mission? And my hope was we would see him try to return to Mandalore, restore Mandalore. That's like my dream. I don't think we're going to get it, but I think it would just be really cool content. Episode 5, again, it's so good, talking about the lore of Mandalore, the people, the Night of 1,000 Tears. It's just so good. I eat that stuff up. I really wanted the show to go that way, and they could still do that. But with Grogu reattached, I don't know if that's going to be the tone we see. I guess we'll find out. Number 2, to me, was the inconsistency in Boba Fett's story. They had some episodes that went deep, that dived into his past, gave us, episode 2 sticks out to me as another really strong episode with a real focus on the Tusken Raiders. A real example of his growth, of his struggles and his trials. I really loved that episode. But by the time we get to the finale, you hear Boba Fett talking about the city, and these are his people, and this is his town. But we as the audience have seen nothing to feel like these are his people. I fully believe the Tuskens. I fully believe Fennec Shand. But what about why the townspeople? It doesn't make sense to me.
Clear out. Take your hoodlum gang with you.
I've known you a long time, Bobo. One thing I can't figure. What's your angle?
This is my city. These are my people. I will not abandon them.
I think the audience is left to fill in a lot of gaps that the show could have spent time developing. We hear Cad Bane talk a lot in the final episode about, you tried to turn straight and you couldn't do it. You're always going to be a killer. But that conflict, that sort of inner tension, wasn't introduced until there at the end. If the idea was seeing Boba Fett struggling to make the change from a good man or from a bounty hunter to a good man, why did we not see more of that struggle, more of that inner dialogue, more of that confrontation? It seemed to me his logic was pretty straightforward. I've been a bounty hunter for a long time. I've seen how careless they are with lives. I see how stupid they are. I can do it better. And I was on board with that. That made a lot of sense to me. But then we find ourselves all of a sudden at the end a man of the people, and we haven't seen that growth. We haven't seen why he feels so connected. He's not from this land. He's not, a local. So why was there a connection? And I can make up reasons and I can try to explain it away. I don't feel like the show did a great job at telling me. The connection with the Tusken Raiders was very clear, very connected, and really resonated with me. That was the strongest episode for me of the Boba focused episodes. Episode 2 stands tall above the rest. And so I sit here at the end watching him talk about how they need to stay in the blown out building because it's for the people, but I've seen nothing of his growth, his connection, outside of the modders who frankly don't feel like they're insiders. I mean, the modders to me don't feel like they belong in Mos Espa. They feel out of place. We understand that they're locals, but I don't feel that connected to them. And frankly, he doesn't have that much time even with those characters. So it's not like he's really tight with the biker gang and we're like, okay, well, he's really close with the mod crew, so I can see as an extension that he also would be close to the community. I think that's just a missing component here. And it's just my opinion, all of this. But that was a real lacking, and they kept trying to pull it up at the end. This is my city, this is my people. At the end, he's saluting. Well, it makes sense at the end. He's going through the streets and people are happy for him. But we know none of these characters. We know none of these places. So it doesn't really feel earned to me. It doesn't really feel satisfying. It just feels like, oh, okay, it's done. And my final point is I think Robert Rodriguez was the wrong pick. Now, before everyone goes crazy here, I don't wish ill on the guy. So many people do that with Rian Johnson because they don't like the sequel trilogy, or J.J. Abrams. This is nothing personal. They had a different idea, a different vision for Star Wars than I did, and that's okay. But with Robert Rodriguez, I found my least favorite episodes were 1, 3, and 7. And those all happened to be the episodes he directed. He seemed to not really have a grasp on how to really shoot the action in a really engaging way. And the show's not all about action, but as I'll show you here, there are several times where we have really awesome moments for these characters that feel really choppily edited. There's some cuts in here that just are really confusing to me.
I knew you were a killer.
And beyond that, whether it's his fault or not, the dialogue in these episodes to me also felt to be the weakest. In the finale, there are so many times where it's so silly it can feel. We have this epic scene with Din Djarin and Boba Fett going down, gunslinging, going all out, which is going pretty cool. And then we have like 10 villagers pull up, and that's supposed to turn the tide. It just doesn't really resonate, and it's not filmed in a way that comes across really cohesive. They just kind of come putting in on this ship, and to me it doesn't really feel like it matches the intensity of this encounter. And why the Cad Bane scenes in here, and there's some shots, phenomenal. I found myself throughout just feeling like it looked really silly. We have these folks running down the middle of the town with this gigantic, amazingly powerful droid, and the droid is missing all its shots. They're hiding behind a wall. This doesn't all fall on him, but I've just noticed in the episodes that he had control over, they just didn't work to me as well. Episode 3, the biker chase scene, it seems so slow. I'm not even talking about the color of the bikes. I said this in my live stream. It just felt so slow. It didn't feel like it matched the intensity of the moment. And that was kind of a reoccurring thing throughout his episodes. Episode 2 is phenomenal. And episode 4 I thought was a really good kind of pick me back up after 3. Episode 5 and 6, I've already talked about it. 5 especially is just chef's kiss. It's so good. And then 7, yeah, there's some cool moments. I think the Rancor is fun. I mean, we all saw it coming. And that's another problem. We really knew everything that was going to happen. When I watched the finale, Jimmy and I recorded all 61 minutes of our reaction. And the reason there's not a video out of our reaction is there was nothing that really had us worth uploading. We had a great time. We laughed, we smiled, we enjoyed some of those moments, some of those interactions, but nothing really surprised us. Nothing really just blew us away. And that's unfortunate for a finale because this is the last taste we have as an audience. And not every finale can be Luke's, hallway triumphant return. It can't be the Darksaber emerging. But it just felt so, okay, it's over now. No real growth for Boba, no real belief for me of why he should continue his reign, what's next for him. It is disappointing. And that's a bummer for me because I really want to love the show. And at the end of the day, to me, it's okay. It's good, not great. There are some episodes in here, 5, 6, 2, and 4 that I think are a really good time. 1, 3, and 7 I think fall flat. And unfortunately, finales are important. They really are. WandaVision fell into the same trap for me where the ending just felt so, what? You had such good buildup and the ending just felt so ridiculous. And that leaves my last memory of the show with a question mark. One other thing I want to talk about is simply, where do we go from here? Is there a season 2? I don't know. They didn't really set up anything interesting for me to feel like I need to see this character again. The Pikes have been cleaned up. The city's being rebuilt. Who are they going to pull in next? It will take some working. It'll take some rearranging. And I don't know if they've earned the fans' hype for it yet. Of course, I'll be excited because I love all things Star Wars. But I'm not sure they did enough. And that is truly disappointing to me. I don't know, guys. I'm very positive, and I found myself rewatching the finale tonight. I enjoyed it. I still laughed and had fun, and there were several character moments really cool. But to me, it still didn't totally match. And overall, the show is good, but it's not on par with Mandalorian Season 2. It's not on par with Mandalorian Season 1. It's not as good as Visions or Bad Batch, so it falls towards the lower half of new Star Wars content we've had. And that's unfortunate because the actors are so good. The cast is so good. Tamara Morrison is so likable. The score in a lot of points was fantastic. There was just some really great moments and motifs. So I don't know. That's just where I am right now. I wanted to make a video giving you guys my thoughts. What did you think? Let me know down below. Hey, Kenobi's coming out. I expect it in a completely different tone because a different director has the helm here. And I don't mind if every show's a little different, if the quality's different, if the tone is different. I think that's great. And so Book of Boba Fett might not be my favorite, but hopefully years down the line we'll look at this as just one of the shows that didn't resonate, as well, not the new standard. So just my thoughts, guys. I appreciate all your support. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you like the video, share it around. I'd love to see some more people come and give me their thoughts. Always tune in to our Thursday night live streams, guys, where we talk about this. Give me your thoughts real time. We'd love to hear it. Until next time, guys, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you again very soon.